Will Kyle Gibson even throw his batting practice to a Triple-A team? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Hot Stove Media. Cheer capping this afternoon's first game of doubleheader between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Washington Nationals as the Phillies lose 13-4 to the Nationals. What in the world was this? We had to put a position player on the mound against a Triple-A team that has lost 100-plus baseball games. So, guys, before we get into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. What an absolute embarrassment. We let go Luis Garcia, a guy that has a .699 OPS, absolutely murder us today. Absolutely kill us today. And Joey Meneses also hits another home run. It seems like all 13 of his home runs have all been against us. And Kyle Gibson, you are an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. And I do think he's a nice person, so that's why, I'm trying not to be too harsh, but how in the world can you be not, too harsh about this guy? I mean, my goodness gracious, he has just been absolutely dreadful. Another 7 earned here this afternoon in this ball game. Overall this year, he has a .505 ERA. Over his last 7 starts, he has a .782 ERA. And since September 1st, his ERA has almost been 11, as it sits at 10.95. 10.95 since September 1st. So it's, over the last month, it's been almost 11, which is absolutely just disgraceful. I don't want to see in the remainder of 2022. I really don't. I mean, how in the world can you justify, him, being, put in the game? What did he starting? I mean, clearly that's out of the picture. This guy can't start another game the rest of the year, and even coming out of the bullpen. Maybe in like a blowout or something. I mean, even that maybe you get too scared about. My gosh, this guy is absolutely terrible. Another great acquisition from Dave Dombrowski. Oh yeah, I remember everybody was so excited except for me last summer when we acquired this guy. I was not. I noticed how I was not very excited, but everybody else was. Oh, looking at the Phillies, they got Kyle Gibson. Oh my gosh. What a big move. They traded away Spencer Howard. They got Hans Krause, who's also been a disaster, and Kyle Gibson. So, boy, this has really worked out for us, hasn't it? This man has been an absolute train. He's going against the Nationals, the Washington Nationals, who are an absolute disaster. They are a dumpster fire. A Triple-A team, and that is the performance you have against him there here this afternoon. What an absolute disgrace. I don't want to see him the rest of the year at all, in any form. I don't even care if we even clinch. I just don't even want to see this guy anymore. And how about Rob Thompson leaving him in the game as long as he did? I mean, what in the world was that all about? Now, I will say, simply because, it's a doubleheader and he wants to preserve the bullpen a little bit. I mean, that's the only thing I will say, to go to Rob Thompson's defense. Other than that, there's no way you could justify him having him, being in the game. Absolutely not. Kyle Gibson, was left in the game way too long. Of course, Rob Thompson, he's lost it. He has absolutely lost it, and he needs to go. If we don't make the playoffs, he needs to go. There's no other way to say it. So we pick up the scoring summary here in the top of the first inning. The Phillies pull off a double steal as Bryce Harper breaks for second. They throw down there, and then they realize Kyle Schwarber is breaking for the plate, and the throw sails way behind the backstop and bounces, towards the pitcher's mound, and everybody was safe. So Bryce Harper was able to move up to second, and Kyle Schwarber was able to come around and score. So a double steal for the Phils. Schwarber's 10th stolen bag of the year. Bryce Harper with his 11th stolen bag of the year, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. So how about that? And of course, Kyle Schwarber triples to lead off the ball game, and we almost stranded him. We almost stranded him at third. Let me pick it up here in the bottom of the first inning. Here we go. First of many, Luis Garcia, a guy that has a .699 OPS, even after today's game, which is very good for him. And, of course, a .699 OPS, lower than Nick Castellanos' OPS. Just let that sink in for a second as he singles on a line drive to right field. Lane Thomas comes around to score, and the Nationals quickly tie the game at 1. So there you go. It didn't take him long. This is an absolute smackdown on the Phillies here this afternoon. We pick it up here in the bottom of the second inning. Joey Meneses doubles on a ground ball to left field. Ollie Adams, Lane Thomas, and C.J. Abrams all come around to score. A bases clearing double. Meneses' 14th double of the season, and it's now 4-1. Washington. So with Joey Meneses, there's just so many guys in this team that, just absolutely kill the Phillies. This Meneses guy, a 30-year-old making his major league debut. What a joke. we let this guy do this kind of damage against us. I mean, granted, he has been much better since the trade than Juan Soto has been for the San Diego Padres. This is, kind of interesting. That was his 14th double of the season. Seems like all these big hits he has are always against the Phillies and Kyle Gibson. At that point in the ball game, I'm thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, hopefully our offense could show up today because we certainly aren't going to get good pitching. Then we pick it up here in the same inning. Luke Voit homers on a fly ball to center field. A 2-run shot. It also scores Joey Meneses. Voit's 22nd of the season, and it's now 6-1 Nationals. So Luke Voit hits a nuke out to center field to give his team now a 5-run lead. So in my mind, I'm thinking we lost. I mean, I was already starting to think about game 2, and I was getting the Kyle Gibson post ready to show how bad he has been. But at the same time, I had a sliver of hope, thinking hey, maybe this offense can maybe come through here and score some runs. So we pick it up here in the top of the 4th inning. Nick Castellanos singles on a ground ball to left field. JT Real Muto comes around to score, and it's now a 6-2 ball game. So Castellanos puts one on the board as the Phillies are now only down by 4. So I guess that's a single right there is what we needed. The singles hitter, Nick Castellanos, gets the job done right there off of Anibal Sanchez. And we pick it up here in the same inning. Gene Segura grounds out the second. Nick Castellanos comes around to score. And it's now a 6-3 ball game. And we pick it up here in the same inning. Bryson Stott with a beautifully placed bunt. Was able to reach first safely on that infield single as Brandon Marsh was able to come around to score. And it's now a 6-4 ball game. So just like that, the Phillies are only down by 2. It's a ball game once again. Something like if Rod Thompson can get Kyle Gibson out of this game and we could shut these guys down, I think we have a very good chance of winning this game. But that'd be the final run we would score against the Nationals. The Nationals. This is just a bad game all the way around. Alec Boehm's defense also costing us. He's not doing anything at the plate. He's been a terrible defender. I mean, he's just, I believe, in my opinion, very overrated. In a lot of ways. The guy is like a 730 OPS. His defense is just a total liability. I understand everybody wants to bring up the fact that, oh my gosh, look how good he's been defensively over the last few months. I mean, are we forgetting something here that this guy, over the course of his career since 2020, has overall not been a good defender? I'm not going to say I could care less, but it's just somewhat kind of redundant in a way. I mean, granted, I think he has improved defensively. Of course he has. But it's still there. The weaknesses are still there. Then we pick it up here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Joey Meneses does it again. He certainly is a menace to the Phillies as he homers on a fly ball to right center field. I'm tired of seeing this guy do damage against us. A solo shot, and it's now 7-4 Nationals. That was his 13th round tripper of the year. And then we pick it up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Luis Garcia singles on a ground ball to left field the other way. Joey Meneses crosses the plate, and it's now an 8-4 ball game. I mean, Nick Nelson was an absolute disaster today. Another guy, not very good. Of course, Kyle Gibson, the worst of them all. And then we pick it up here in the same inning. Vargas singles on a ground ball to right field. Luke Voit crosses the plate, and it's now 9-4 Nationals. So I knew the ball game was over. I'm like, it is over. So thank you. Thank you for this pitching staff just absolutely imploding. A wonderful job, guys. And then we pick it up here in the same inning. Victor Robles hits a sacrifice fly out the center field. And Luis Garcia crosses the plate on that one. It's now 10-4 Washington. So they have a commanding 6-run lead. And we pick it up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Luis Garcia does it again. So he homers on a fly ball to right field, a 3-run shot that also scores the typical, Philly killers, Joey Meneses and Luke Voit. And it's now 13-4 Nats. And that would be your final. Mercy. We let a nice AAA team beat us here this afternoon. So 13-4 Washington as they take the second game of this 4-game series, the first game of the doubleheader. So the Phillies did not do what I wanted them to do. I said sweep the doubleheader, and now that is out of the question. But hopefully they could just salvage this last game of the doubleheader here and then avoid the doubleheader sweep, even if it even gets played. Kyle Schwarber, one knock here this afternoon. It was the leadoff triple as he also draws a walk and strikes out once here as well. Of course, the Phillies pulled off a double steal, and he stole home for his 10th stolen bag of the year. Very well executed play. And of course, Derek Hall was called back up from AAA. He never should have been sent down in the first place. Don't give me, there was no spot for him. Don't give me that. That was a bad move from Dave Dombrowski. Now, granted, I understand he cannot hit a left-hander, I'm not going to deny that. But that was another bad move from Dave Dombrowski. And Rhys Hoskins goes hitless here this afternoon. Not much out of him. And Bryce Harper also goes hitless here this afternoon as well, but he was able to draw a walk. JT Muto collects 2 knocks here. I mean, he always just seems to kill the Nationals, but he does strike out twice as well. Scores one of the Phillies 4 runs out. But not only did he cost the Phillies defensively, but he also went 0 for 4 at the plate. And I hate to harp on this guy, but I do like Bryson Stott better than Alec Bohm. I said that Bryson Stott has a higher ceiling than Alec Bohm does. I've said that forever. Seemingly. I mean, Alec Bohm just doesn't really do for me. I mean, he has a 718 OPS, even lower than I thought. Even lower than I thought he had. I mean, he does have 70 RBIs, which is pretty impressive for a guy that only has 12 home runs. So you go take a look at that ratio. Imagine if Kyle Schwarber had that ratio, he'd have like a million RBIs. I mean, my goodness gracious. A 283 average with a 718 OPS. As I said, he's a defensive liability. And Bryson Stott is not. I understand that he's had a few of his blunders this year, which haven't been very good, but overall, the scouting report says that Bryson Stott is usually going to be an above-average defender with great range at short. And Bryson Stott has more torque coming off that bat. Hits the ball more with velocity. Alec Bohm's just more of like a ground ball hitter. He doesn't really excite me. Nick Castellanos, the 1 knock here this afternoon, of course, was the RBI single to make it a 6-2 ball game, and Brandon Marsh gets to start on center and also was able to collect a knock and draw a walk. And he also scored one of the Phillies 4 runs. Gene Segura was able to collect an RBI on that ground out, and Bryson Stott driving in the final run of the ball game on that very well placed bunt. That was a very well executed play right there by the Phillies. So the Phillies collect 7 hits on 4 runs, while the Nationals collect 14 hits on 13 runs. So we strike out 10 times against the Nationals. 10. That is embarrassing. So a pitiful job. Pitiful job. Kyle Gibson, 6 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, all 7 were earned. 2 walks and 7 strikeouts, a 5.05 ERA, and people thinking oh, well, I mean, okay, I said it too. Alec Bohm's defense did not help. You know what I mean? It certainly didn't help, but I don't want to hear it. Kyle Gibson was an absolute disaster. There's no other way to sugarcoat it, and I think that Kyle Gibson's the kind of guy that will take responsibility. I think he's a good human being. I'm not attacking him personally because I think he does a lot for the community. Every time I look around, he's always doing something to help people in need. So Gibson gets smacked with a loss now, 10-8 on the year. And that's another thing. I mean, everybody says, oh, he has a 5-4 record on the year. I mean, that's another point I'm trying to prove right here why record for a pitcher is irrelevant. I mean, the fact that Kyle Gibson has a winning record as a pitcher is a joke. It's an absolute joke. I don't think there's hardly any people that even pay attention to win and loss records for pitchers here in 2022, hardly anymore, because it's just so irrelevant. It always was, sort of. Nick Nelson, 3rd inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, all 3 were earned, 2 walks. As a 4.92 ERA. That was not a good time to put in Nick Nelson. Trying to preserve this ball game and try to hold these guys so our offense could do their job. Of course, it didn't, but this is not a spot to use this guy. And Chris Davinsky came in and pitched an inning in the 3rd, 3 hits, 3 runs, all 3 earned, and struck out 2. And I mean, that I'm more okay with because the ball game was pretty much out of reach at that point, so that was a pretty good time to use him. And Nick Maton, a position player, had to come in and collect the final out of the bottom of the 8th inning. So that's an embarrassment. That's an absolute embarrassment. So the Phillies get smacked around by the Washington Nationals. Yes, you heard me right. These guys. So we have a 7:05 second game of the doubleheader. Noah Syndergaard 9-10 with a 4.12 ERA, and Romero 1-0 with a 7.71 ERA. I mean, the offense really hasn't been that good in nearly a week. It did nothing in Chicago. It really wasn't that great yesterday. It certainly wasn't good today on the first game. So we are due. The bats hopefully will come alive. And somebody said on Instagram, somebody commented, said, let the Nationals score those runs. Let them tire themselves out because most likely than not, they're probably not going to do that again. At least I hope not. You know what I mean? So let them do it. Let them tire themselves out. Good. Let's take care of business tonight. Let's take care of business tomorrow afternoon. But honestly, it's going to be raining all day, unfortunately. So I don't know if that's going to happen. It seems like every Sunday game there's always rain. It's just weird. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, check out the social media. Link in the description section at Phillies Hotsuit Media, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Hotsuit Media. Card text 267-225-3992. Email me, phillieshatsuitmedia@gmail.com. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you. Let's go Phils. See you guys.